Elections will be called to order. It's Tuesday, December 2nd. Madam Secretary, will you call the roll? Present.
Vice Chairman DeSimone.
Present.
Member Becker. Here. Member Connors.
Present.
Member Giaconi. Member Reposa.
Present.
Member Schultz. Executive Director Miguel Nunez.
Present.
Legal Counsel Ray McCutcheon.
Present.
Thank you.
Thank you. The first item on the agenda, the board may discuss and vote to approve the minutes of the meeting of November 18th, 2025. We have a motion to approve. Do we have a second? Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And I will abstain. I was not present.
I will
Also abstain.
also.
And the three of us were not present. So minutes, no.
I'm sorry, what's the question?
But we can't pass the minutes since it's.
You can, so long as you have, as long as you have a body in place, so people have abstained, but they're still on the days.
Got it.
As long as the majority of those who are not abstaining vote in favor, it'll pass.
Great. Motion passes. Agenda item number 2, the board may discuss and vote to approve the board meeting calendar for 2026. Everyone's had a chance to review the calendar. If there's any questions, discussion.
I have a question.
Yes.
So I see that the meetings are set for 4:00, which I agree with. Except during election time, meaning like after declarations in June going forward, and we may have more people. I know that when we moved here from Branch Avenue, one of the concerns was the public bus transportation for people to take, because it does stop at after 4:00, but before 5:00. So anybody coming here requiring public transportation may have trouble getting in and out of the Board of Elections. So my suggestion would be that from, let's say, the July 7th meeting forward, we change the times of the meeting to accommodate anyone that may need public transportation. Because otherwise, we're going to prevent people from being able to attend our meetings.
Or there are other measures that we can take to provide alternative transportation to people. I mean, this would need further discussion if that's,
What other alternatives do
that's
we have other
proposal.
than public? Ubers?
Do we have a budget for transportation?
I don't believe you have a budget for being able to bus people here.
Yeah, I think it's the majority of what the board, wants. I can say from my own professional obligation perspective,
I totally
That
agree.
won't work.
I understand.
yeah. And
I
we don't
understand.
certainly, I'm open, like I said, to further discussion. I don't think any of us wants to prevent the public from coming to the meetings, and to the extent of using public transportation, I couldn't speak to what those numbers are, but
And I agree with you. That's why
Yeah,
my suggestion was, except for during election time, like in
yeah, that's a lot of
2026,
days. That's-
leave it at 4:00, like for January, February, March, April, May.
Yeah.
The 4:00 meeting.
No, I understand your suggestion. It just, I don't know what others.
Ask Bob, what would be a more reasonable time during the election period?
From my point of view, could be 2, 3:00 works, because if we do have like during declarations or thing of that nature where you do have more of the public here, they could come to the meeting, we could have the meeting, and they could get back on the public transportation if they so needed it.
Right, because we met at 50 Branch Avenue, and the meetings were much earlier.
It
During
wasn't.
election cycle, and a lot more people attended,
Mhm.
especially people with buses. So, I mean, it's a reasonable suggestion. So I think for those particular months, we can start earlier. And if the chair can't make it, this vice chair can step in to conduct the meeting until later in the afternoon. So I think 2:00 would be more appropriate, or perhaps 3:00 for those months.
Is there something that, because I know in this calendar year, we've changed hours. Is this something that we can take on a basis of, because I understand, as I was trying to think about the points, right? So July, to your point, is when we review signatures, right? So that's where you're saying more members of the public are usually present because we're dealing with them during these times. Okay. Yeah, no, I get it. I'm just trying to figure out, like, I'm fine with either or. Yeah, because for me, for example, like, there are times during the first half of the year that, depending on my
Mhm.
work,
I mean,
I might not be able to come.
And I can do the meetings at either time,
Mhm.
so it's not an issue for me. The only issue for me on this calendar would be the Thursday, February 3rd, because on Thursdays I have a standing 4 o'clock meeting, but those 2 o'clock times that the commission is suggesting, I don't have a problem with one way or the other.
If you want, yeah, I mean, if we want to sweep it
It's
rather
also
than
Tuesday.
handle it
It's
case
also,
by
it should be
case.
Tuesday, February 3rd, by the way, not Tuesday, not Thursday.
That's a
That's a-
Thursday,
Yeah.
right?
No, that's
No,
a
it's a
Tuesday.
Tuesday.
February 3rd is
Oh,
a
it is?
Tuesday.
Okay,
Yep.
well then,
It was just a
then that's
typo.
not a problem then.
Yeah, it's just a
Okay.
typo.
So I have a problem with none of the dates then, as far as that goes.
And just for some background, we do set the first Tuesday after the first Monday, because that is typically a special election day like today.
Mhm.
So that's why it would be on that day. Any other meetings that are part of the amended meeting agenda, which, as you know, we hold many meetings. So we hold up to 24 meetings, 24, 30 meetings sometimes in a year, not just 12. And those are more flexible too. So we've been adjusting those as needed as well. We could set some meetings to 2 o'clock if it's declarations. We can keep the 4 o'clock for standard meetings.
Mhm.
However, the board decides, the staff is
Yeah.
ready to accommodate the
Yeah.
board.
Whatever the
Um,
board decides, I'll just make the converse point that 2 o'clock in the afternoon, public transportation aside, you do have members of the public that cannot take time off of work to come to meetings.
Mhm.
So
It's like
it's
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 Catch-22.
a
It's a
it's a
catch-22,
balance.
yeah.
I think it is a balance, and that was my suggestion. I'm not saying we spring for our own transportation, but I think if there's proper notification to the public of if you are to need, assistance with transportation, but again, it's the board's majority decision, but, and it's not just, certainly not, I don't want the meetings to be held at a certain time just for me. But there, like I said, there are folks that can't take time off work, in the
And
middle
we-
of the day.
And we do stream all of our meetings now, unlike at Branch Avenue, we do stream, which we didn't have available. So that is an option for someone if they can't get here. They can always stream it on YouTube as well. Yes.
Yeah, have you ever been contacted by anyone who has had trouble with public transportation getting to a meeting?
No. No, we, as part of this process, we check the schedule. It's generally the last bus leaves this area like at 4:18. For some reason it stops at Walmart at 3:33, which is up the street, but then it comes back and stops here, on Amplex Drive at 4:18.
We have to talk to
Um,
RIPTA,
It's Ripta.
that state agency that,
And. I
no, in
mean-
all seriousness, have we?
Oh, we have.
Right,
When we
yeah.
moved here, we reached out to
Yeah,
them and there was some movement. Nothing ever came of it though, and they've had some budget cuts. I'm certainly more than willing to reach out to them again and see if they can at least adjust for the first Tuesday or the first Monday,
Which,
after the first Monday of any month.
I know they can do it. They've done it. We have a bus at CCRI. We have a bus, a transportation hub, and we've had to, but it might be worth reaching out. I don't know.
I can do that.
I mean, would it make sense to approve the first half of the agenda and then maybe put the second half of it on another day? I don't know.
Mhm.
Sure.
that makes sense.
Okay, well, I'll make a motion to approve the calendar from January through June 2nd,
I second.
2026.
And I would second that.
Great. Motion to approve the first half of the calendar through May 5th, 2026. Any further discussion?
Well, I was going through June.
Oh, through June.
June.
Okay, sorry, through June 2nd. Any further discussion? Hearing none, all in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? Motion passes. Agenda item number 3, the board may hear and consider any election matter that requires an immediate ruling or determination arising from the special election for Providence City Council Ward 2, North Providence Town Council District 2, and Charlestown Town Council pursuant to Title 17 of the Rhode Island General Laws. Director?
Good evening, members of the board. I can report to the board that there is no matter in today's special elections in Providence Council Ward 2 or North Providence Council District 2 or Charlestown that does require an immediate ruling or determination by the board. The special elections have run extremely smoothly so far with a relatively light turnout in 2 of the 3 communities, which I'll summarize for you now, both here and on the television screens above. Overall, as of 3 p.m. this afternoon, in the Providence Council Ward 2 contest, 306 of the 9,858 eligible voters have voted for an approximate turnout of just over 3.1% overall. Only 60 voters cast ballots during that early voting period, which ended yesterday at 4 p.m. Thus far, the busiest polling place, which is typical in Providence Ward 2, has been the Temple Bethel polling place with 175 voters thus far. We have received in that Providence contest 151 of the 210 mail ballots that were requested by Providence voters. 59 ballots are still pending receipt. Thus far, 7 Providence voters of those 151 have been deemed deficient, and the voters were notified that they do have until December 9th at 4 p.m. to correct that issue in order to have their ballot counted. Over in North Providence Council District 2, we had 546 of the 9,031 eligible voters have voted thus far for an approximate turnout of 6.5%. 196 voted during the early voting period, which again ended yesterday at 4 p.m. The busiest polling place in North Providence has been the North Providence Youth Center with 120 voters thus far today. We have received 186 of the 222 mail ballots requested by North Providence voters. We do still have 36 mail ballots outstanding. Thus far, 16 of those 186 North Providence voters have had their mail ballots deemed deficient, and we did notify them that they have until 12/9 at 4 p.m. to have their issues corrected in order to be counted. And then lastly, the busiest community today has been in Charlestown. In the only polling place that is in operation, which is the town hall, 1,210 of the 7,134 eligible voters have voted. That's an approximate turnout of just over 16.9%. 710 voted during the early voting period, which again ended yesterday at 4 p.m. In Charlestown, we have received 112 of the 137 mail ballots requested by Charlestown voters. We are still waiting for 25 mail ballots to be returned. As of today, 3 of those 112 Charlestown mail ballots have been deemed deficient, and the voters were notified. This afternoon, we did complete the tabulation of mail ballots in all of the special elections. And as of 6 a.m. this morning, the board has had 3 of our full-time staff members out in the field in all 3 communities to support the polling locations in the Providence, North Providence, and Charlestown. And I'm happy to report there are no polling place or equipment issues thus far to report. The staff will remain in the field until the polls close at 8 p.m., and they'll stay here at our facility until unofficial results have been received and published to our website, which usually starts about 8:15 or 8:20 p.m. This concludes my Election Day report for Providence Council Ward 2, North Providence Council District 2, and the Charlestown Town Council special elections. And I'm happy to answer any questions from the board.
Thank you, Miguel. Any questions for Miguel? Moving on to agenda item number 4, the board may discuss and vote to commence the process of revising its relocation of polling places rule and regulation 410-RICR-20-00-26 as set forth in the attached document.
Members of the board, the staff presents to you today an amended polling place relocation regulation. The purpose of this minor amendment is to add clarity to the purpose of the regulation, which is to ensure the public is adequately made aware of any change in their polling location for an upcoming election. Now, as you know, the board approves the use of all polling locations for use in all special elections and regularly scheduled statewide biennial elections. The Board of Canvassers are required to submit their polling place requests to the Board of Elections at least 50 days prior to any primary or election, upon which time the staff presents those requests to the board. Procedurally, we do work with the local board several months even before that date to ensure that our staff has reviewed all the potential location requests and they do pass the minimum requirements. The new language in this regulation does make clear that the Board of Elections approves all locations for use in each upcoming election. During the period of no elections, as facilities and buildings which house polling places become unavailable for various reasons, the staff will continue to inspect potential locations to ensure they meet minimum requirements. If the location is located outside of a voting district, per state law, it would still need to be approved by a unanimous vote of the local board prior to any election. And for a polling location to be used in a primary or election, it will still require a public meeting by the local board at least 50 days prior to an election, and it needs to be approved by the Board of Elections under these regulations. Now, under these regulations, in the event that a polling place, having been approved by this board to be used in an upcoming election, subsequently becomes unavailable prior to Election Day, the local board would need to follow the requirements that are set out in this regulation. Now, these requirements include immediately holding a public hearing and at the discretion of the local board, notifying each qualified voter of the affected voting district. The regulation also requires notifying all elected officials, members of the General Assembly, and candidates. Notification must be written, electronic, or telephonic whenever the circumstances and sufficient time permits. And there are procedures within the regulation as well that allows under emergency circumstances for some or all of these requirements to be waived by the state board. Now, if the board approves, we will put this regulation out for public comment. It will be posted on our website and on the Secretary of State's open government portal. Typically, that would be for a period of 30 days. The board is not subject to the Administrative Procedures Act, as you know, but the board does follow the APA whenever possible. I'm happy to answer any questions regarding this regulation that the staff respectfully requests that the board puts out for public comment.
Thank you.
I have a question. I don't know whether either Miguel or Ray can answer that. But section 26.5 talks about emergency. And in this regulation, you deleted the word emergency and substituted the words for exigent and unforeseen circumstances. Then also deleted the word difficult and substituted the words for impossible or impractical. So can you give us your thinking on use
I
of those
can.
words?
When Miguel and the staff decided to modify the body of the regulation the way they did, I used the opportunity just to put a little more clarification under 26.5 to try to elevate the threshold to make it more clear that this is a very unusual circumstance that you would be accepting the notification process. So rather than just say emergency, it should be always unforeseen. If this is foreseeable, there's no reason why they should be waiting. So we've had in the past sometimes wondered whether the emergent condition is from maybe waiting too long. You can't wait. You've got to do it. So that was one reason to put that language in. And then where it says renders any deadlines difficult, I just wanted to make it more clear that this is impossible to meet or impractical, so that we're just clarifying that these regulations should be followed whenever possible.
That's for you.
I just have a question.
Yes, sir.
And Ray, the change to impossible or impractical from difficult, that's a higher standard, I would suggest, correct?
Arguably, difficult can be viewed that way as well, but it does it's more of a clarification as opposed to a change in anything more than that. But I wanted everybody to know the threshold is very, very high if we're looking to accept any of these notification requirements.
And then just lastly, I don't know if that should be that renders or that render based upon the new language. I'm not sure there's an S on renders. That's the only other issue.
Yeah, I have it down as render.
Yeah.
Okay. Do we have a motion
Move to approve the changes.
or commence I should have said that up front.
Yeah, I move to, to start the process of revisiting the regulations.
Second.
Motion made and seconded. Any further discussion? All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, abstentions? The ayes have it. Motion passes. Agenda item number 5, the board may vote to convene an executive session regarding investigations into allegations of misconduct, either civil or criminal, in accordance with Rhode Island General Laws 42-46-5, subsection A, subsection 4. Do I have a motion to move into executive session?
So
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
And we are moving into executive session at 4:30 PM. welcome back. And we have nothing.
Madam Chair, there's nothing to report in open session from the executive session.
Okay. Given that, do we have a motion to seal the minutes of executive session and resume open session?
Second.
Moved and seconded. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed, abstentions? Motion passes. Agenda item number 6, as I understand it, do I have to read it first, Ray, if we're gonna?
You can just ask if it could be
Okay.
continued to a future meeting, Madam Chair.
Okay. We are going to, do I have a motion to continue agenda item number 6 to a future meeting? Moved and seconded. Any other comments or discussion? Hearing none. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Abstentions? The ayes have it. Motion passes. Do I have a motion to adjourn the meeting?
Second.
Moved and seconded to adjourn. All in favor signify by saying aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? The ayes have it. Meeting is adjourned at 5:29 PM. Thank you.